Welcome to the Evolution Studio Works podcast series. Today's conversation presents a list of 7 side hustles that are well-suited for retirees seeking to earn additional income. The hosts, drawing on personal experience and industry data from various job sites, describe each side hustle, detailing typical responsibilities, potential earnings, and ideal candidate traits. These roles, ranging from ushers and venue security to food demonstrators and special event bartenders, generally require no specialized skills or extensive experience, offering flexible part-time opportunities. The overall aim is to provide actionable advice for those looking to supplement their retirement income through accessible and manageable gigs. Let's join the conversation.
Have you ever found yourself thinking, I could really use a bit more income, but maybe without trading all your free time for it? Perhaps you're navigating retirement, looking to stay active, or maybe you just want to use your time and skills better in a way that fits your life. What if you could find opportunities that slide right into your schedule and don't need years of special training? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. Our mission here is to explore 7, surprisingly accessible side hustles. These aren't just for retirees, though they're great for them. Honestly, they apply to almost anyone needing flexibility. And this isn't just some list. We're really going to break down the roles, talk realistic pay, key things to consider. It's all based on our source material review, including some really great insights from someone who's actually done several of these gigs firsthand.
Yeah, and that firsthand experience is just so valuable, isn't it? It cuts through a lot of the assumptions. The core benefit we found, it's flexibility. Really remarkable flexibility. We're talking about jobs that let you work just a few hours, maybe during the week, maybe just weekends, without feeling totally overwhelmed or tied down. So our goal with this deep dive is really to give you a shortcut, help you get well informed about these very practical ways to earn.
Okay, let's jump in then. Where should we start? Let's kick off with one that maybe people overlook sometimes, being an usher.
Right, the usher. So the role is mainly about helping guests, helping them navigate venues. It could be a concert hall, sports arena, a big entertainment complex. You're guiding them, making sure they find seats, just helping things run safe and smooth. And the pay. Well, according to Indeed.com, it's around $10.89 per hour in the U.S., roughly.
Okay, $10.89. Seems pretty straightforward, but who is this really for? What kind of person finds this particularly appealing?
Well, it's perfect for someone wanting, minimal commitment. Just a few hours a week, maybe an evening here and there, or like you said, a Saturday matinee.
Yeah.
And, beyond the money, which is modest, there's that other perk. You get to be part of events, stay social, maybe even enjoy the show or game for free. That's a big plus for some people.
That's a great point, the sort of social and entertainment side of it. Okay, building on that, let's look at the next one. Venue security. Related, but a slightly different angle.
Absolutely. Venue security. You're still in guest areas, but you're monitoring for safety, compliance issues. You interact with guests, deal with any security stuff that pops up. But it's really important to stress, these are not armed positions.
Yeah.
It's much more like being a customer service rep, just making sure things are secure and positive.
And this is where that direct experience from our source comes in handy. They actually did this gig, worked security for the Cleveland Browns early on, said they basically stood at a gate, making sure fans didn't bring in, bottles or cans. What else did they find?
Well, they found it surprisingly engaging, actually, even though the task seemed simple. The challenge, they said, was just the volume of people and needing that constant but polite vigilance. Compensation-wise, Indeed suggests maybe $10 to $15 an hour. Though a friend mentioned, working for the Cleveland Indians, it was closer to $10, maybe $12.50, depending on how long they'd been there. And one really key thing here, a lot of this work is seasonal. So if you need something year-round, 365 days, this might not be the only gig you need. Maybe layer it with something else.
Good practical point on the seasonality. Okay, let's switch gears. Something more interactive, maybe for people who like chatting and maybe snacks. Food demonstrator?
Yeah, the food demonstrator.
Yeah.
You're usually in grocery stores, maybe other retail spots. And the job's quite varied. You're answering customer questions, handing out samples.
The best part of shopping sometimes.
Exactly. Maybe doing live demos, prepping the samples, promoting sales, handing out flyers or info.
Definitely sounds like you need a certain kind of personality for this. Who really thrives here? And what about the pay? I know the source had thoughts on maximizing that.
Oh, yeah. An outgoing personality is pretty key. You're meeting new people constantly, engaging them. Pay for part-timers, it can be anywhere from, say, $12 to $25 an hour. And the source really stressed this. Working directly for the food manufacturer That's often the best way to earn more.
Rather than an agency.
Right, exactly. Avoids the middleman, basically.
Yeah.
Now, Glassdoor.com mentions a full-time average, like $53,000 nationally. But our source was a bit skeptical about that for part-time work. Said it's more about that hourly rate and who you work for.
I remember them saying they actually found it fun when they did it, working in sales for a natural food broker. What was the fun part? And what does that tell us?
They really loved it. Said it wasn't just the cash, it was the social side. Introducing people to new stuff, healthy products in their case, getting that immediate feedback. It just highlights that sometimes, a side hustle isn't only about money. It's enjoyment, engagement, maybe feeling useful.
That's a fantastic takeaway. The non-financial stuff matters too. Okay, shifting again, but sticking with customer service. The ticket office gig.
Right, ticket office. Primarily customer service, very front-facing. You're selling tickets for shows, events, attractions, helping guests with seating questions, looking for lost things, pointing out restrooms, phones, that kind of stuff. Just making the whole guest experience run smoothly from the start.
Who's this really suited for, especially thinking about folks wanting flexibility? And what's the job market looking like for these roles?
Well, it seems particularly good for retirees with a solid customer service background. That life experience, maybe a bit more patience, that's a real asset. We saw examples like MGM Resorts, Live Nation hiring for these roles. And the general feeling is there should be a lot more openings coming up as the entertainment world keeps bouncing back, which is good news.
Definitely good news. Okay, let's talk about one with maybe higher earning potential, but also a really critical catch, special event bartender.
Yeah, this is different from your regular bar shift. You're serving drinks at specific events, weddings, corporate parties, private functions, often one-offs. It's about being quick, friendly, handling that temporary high-energy environment.
And this is where our source gave that piece of advice, really vital advice. Before you even think about taking a gig, there's one question you absolutely must ask. What was it? And why is it so critical?
The question is, are you allowed to accept tips? Simple as that. And it's critical because, as our source put it, tips can be probably 50 to 60% of your income, minimum.
That much?
Yeah. And some places, like nonprofits or even certain weddings, might not allow tipping. The advice was blunt. If tips aren't allowed, just hang up the phone. It changes the whole equation financially.
That's a massive difference. So what can you potentially earn then if tips are allowed?
Well, that's where it gets good. You could potentially pocket a couple $100s for just one night's work. It's seen as a great way to make pretty good cash quickly. Plus, it's fun if you like talking to people. And super flexible, you can just pick up a shift here or there. 1 or 2 days a week, maybe.
Sounds lively for sure. Okay, another event role. Often works alongside bartenders. Banquet server.
Right, the banquet server. Serving food at banquets, often, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, peak event times. This one also has decent earning potential. You can maybe pocket $100 or more for a night.
Okay, what about the physical side? I imagine you're on your feet. Our source mentioned that. And also how the industry's doing now.
Yeah, the main thing is standing. Probably 5 to 7 hours, maybe. Though it's not always nonstop. You'll have busy times rushing around, but also lulls. And yes, the industry definitely took a big hit with COVID, but it is slowly bouncing back.
And who did the source see doing this work?
That was interesting. They saw younger folks, sure, but also quite a few people of retirement age. They figured for many older people, the work wasn't too physically challenging. But it offered, a steady, active routine and that social piece again. Seemed like a good fit for staying active without being overly strenuous.
That makes sense. Okay, finally, we've got one that sounds really quite different. Unique, almost. Driver for a car dealership.
Yeah, this one's interesting. Dealership service departments really rely on drivers. It involves lots of different tasks, actually. Moving cars in and out of the service bays, keeping the lots neat, organized, maybe even creating new car displays by moving vehicles around. And for the bigger dealer groups, you might even drive the courtesy shuttle between locations or just ferry customers around the lot.
Sounds pretty varied. Okay, the big question. What about the pay? Our source mentioned it was pretty impressive and talked about a unique part of the job, these longer hauls. Tell us about that.
The pay could be quite good, yeah. Drivers might average around $300 a day, plus expenses.
Wow, per day.
Per day. Our source suggested you could easily make up to maybe $3,000 a month part-time, which works out to roughly $25 an hour. And then there are these specific longer trips they called hauls.
Hauls. Okay, what exactly are those? Sounds
it's a cool term. So one example they gave was transporting cars for snowbirds. People who move between, say, the Northeast and Florida with the seasons.
Right.
Well, someone needs to drive their car down or back up. So you might drive the car one way, then maybe fly back. And the source shared this nice little story about someone's former father-in-law who did this. Said he absolutely loved the job, had fun, enjoyed the quiet drive time, the change of scenery. It was almost like a mini road trip.
What a fascinating mix of opportunities we've covered. 7 quite different gigs. So looking back across all of them, what are the common threads? The big picture.
Well, the main things are definitely flexibility, first and foremost. And generally not needing a ton of specialized skills or years of experience to get started. Plus that ability to really customize at how many hours you work each week. But also, I think many offer that chance for social connection, a bit of routine without being totally rigid. That seems really valuable, especially maybe for retirees.
Yeah, it's powerful how these roles, even if sometimes aimed at retirees, really could work for, like you said, most folks. It really underlines how important it is to match the hustle to your personality, right? And what you can physically do. And thinking about starting out, our source mentioned applying some basic entrepreneurial steps, something about a side hustle starter kit.
Exactly. Treating it a bit like starting a mini business, even if it's small. That starter kit idea was about being clear on your goals, like, why do you want this? What do you hope to get out of it? Then looking honestly at your skills, your interests, researching what's actually available locally, and importantly, networking, just talking to people. You'd be surprised how many of these gigs pop up through word of mouth or just asking around at places you already go to.
Makes sense.
Yeah, just being proactive, having that bit of a business mindset, even for a few hours a week.
So hopefully you feel like you've just gotten a bit of a shortcut now, a better sense of these really practical, flexible ways to earn some income. We've gone from ushers welcoming guests all the way to dealership drivers crossing state lines. We've looked at the roles, the potential pay, those crucial little details from our sources.
So maybe as you think about all this, here's a final thought to chew on. Beyond just the money, which is obviously important, how might taking on one of these flexible side hustles actually enrich your life in other ways, maybe unexpected ways? Could it be, new people you meet, different experiences, or maybe just a renewed sense of purpose, a nice routine, something more than just the paycheck?
Yeah, think about what possibilities these ideas open up for you, whether you're just after a few extra dollars or maybe a way to stay active or, just a new way to engage with the world around you.